back to the podcast, the video vloggy thing or whatever we do here. This is the, Potato Water Thursdays or whatever. I don't know what we're doing, but today we're not having fireside chat today. We decided to go a little different, and we have Holly McWilliams. Holly McWilliams is here to have a little, I don't know, I guess we're having a kitchen chat today, not a fireside chat. So, and it's not Thursday, but you can guess what day it is. All right. So welcome and thank you for coming. I appreciate you taking time out of your day to come down and blah, blah, blah with me. All right.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me to be here and being a part of this. This is really cool.
All right. All right. You got the headphones and you got the microphone. You all good? Everything's good to go?
I sound really weird.
No, you don't. You don't. And you look great. So what's on your easel? What's going on? What's on the easel right now? What are you thinking? What's going on?
Ooh. So currently I'm batch painting.
Batch painting, nice.
Batch painting, I think it's because I have a lot of ADD and I can't actually complete one
Wouldn't ADD
painting.
be opposite to batch painting, meaning I bounce all over the place and...
That's it. That's it exactly. So I do things in batches. So at this time, I have 7 paintings on the go. And they probably take half an hour intervals on the easel as I have my paint days.
Swap it out.
Yeah,
Swap it out.
Totally. So it's like, oh, this color will work really well here, and then here, and then there.
So yeah. The old swapperoo. Yeah. Work a little bit on this one. Work. A lot of people do that. Mm-hmm. They have that. Well, that work a little here, work a little there, work everywhere. Mm-hmm. I can't do that. But but I work fast enough that it doesn't bother me. But I can't.
You do.
I can't let a painting go. I gotta get it to a resolved spot.
Oh, that's so funny. I'm the opposite. So as soon as I hit a wall, it's like, I'm done with you. I'm moving on. God, and then it will always come back again.
I just wrote a quote down the other day or something that said, when an idea comes to the end, that's where you stop and move on to something else.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that the painting's at the end. It means that idea for the moment is done with what it needs to be, and I'm going to go to somewhere else with new ideas.
Exactly.
I may come back to that and there'll be fresh ideas.
Totally. And I find every time that I've tried to pursue and like push through that, I'm going to figure this all out right now. I'm going to finish this painting right now. I epically fail every time, and it's like, it's an uncomfortable feeling. I'm not enjoying my painting experience. And so I'd way rather go eat a sandwich or, pick up another painting or do something else.
Yeah. Yeah. So you're swapping out. What's going on? What do you got on there? What's going on?
So I have a few ravens going on at the moment, and ravens have been something that I've played around with for many years. Right now, these ones are all turquoise and like beautiful inky indigos and stuff like that, which I'm loving this color palette.
Oh, imagine indigo Holly liking indigo. Wow. So right.
And then I'm really loving the urban landscapes.
Yeah, you're still doing those.
Oh,
That's great.
Totally. Yeah, I did a few photo shoots this year, or sorry, I should say last year, right when the weather was turning and lots of puddles on the ground, lots of shininess of all the lights. And it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like I have photo references for years.
Oh, that's
now.
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
nice.
Totally. It was a good date night driving around and being like, oh, let's take a picture of this back alley downtown. Great.
All right. What do you use? Are you just iPhoning it? Or you're just iPhoning it and finding something that, isn't it amazing when you drive around and go, like my kids, when we were driving, we'd be on holidays and the kids would go, oh God, Dad took out the camera. No, we're never going to get there. Oh, stop. Let's take a picture of this. Let's take a picture of that. They just hated it. They knew once Dad started seeing things, the light would get good and it'd be like, okay, we're never getting home.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, there's nothing like good reference. Well, you know what they say: good reference, good painting; bad reference, bad painting. So,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, right.
100p.
How much work do you do then? You get it. What do you do? You snap a picture. How much work do you do on the photo? Are you a Photoshoppy person?
Oh God, no. I find once again, I have to hit the easy button on so many things. You know how many times I've tried to learn Photoshop and do different things? Like smash my computer. I'm done.
Yeah, totally.
Screw this.
100% agree with you.
So I find a lot of everything that I do is always on my iPhone. Because with my iPhone, it's literally in my hand and I just tinker. I poke around. I try this. I try that. I have a few different editing apps and stuff like that I'll play with. And Every once in a while, and I'm sure every photographer feels this way, where they get the one winner and it's like, no filters, no nothing. This is amazing.
Oh, it's a money shot. That's a money shot. I call it the money shot. Yeah.
That makes sense. Totally.
Yeah,
that's a money shot.
That's a money shot.
But it rarely happens.
Yeah, I know. They rarely happen. They all need a little bit of work. I would say I'm a pretty darn good photographer when it comes to art painting. I know a photographer would look at me and cringe and go, oh, what are you doing? Oh, contrasty. And, oh, you didn't have your shutter speed ISO right.
But you know what you need to paint.
I know exactly what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
I compose inside that picture frame right away and get it to 80, 90%. And then I'll take it, and I'm the same way. I gave up on Photoshop. There's just too much. It's too hard to know. So I just use my little editor right there, and I'm like, croppy. I saturate a little bit, and I do a little of this, and I'm like, oh, that's good, because the other 10% is all in my head anyways. I'm going to change it and paint it and do whatever. I know what's going on already when I see this. So I see a painting, I see a photo, primarily as a finished painting already. Yeah. I'm already down that road going, I'm going to make this get to that level.
Yeah, totally.
There. Yeah. If you can see it finished, you can paint it.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I almost feel like editing on the photo apps is similar. I used to do thumbnail sketches all the time, and I still do. But I feel like my thumbnail sketch is now when I'm tinkering and playing on the editing app.
Absolutely, 100%.
And it will never be that, like what we just said. The picture will never, ever be exactly on the finished painting, but it gives me a rough idea of where I want to explore, where I want to saturate, where I want to desaturate, more shadows here.
Absolutely. And I mean, I have years used sketchbooks. I still use a sketchbook. I still draw things out when I can't figure it out composition wise, and sometimes little painty swatches to see where I'm going. Yeah. But I'll tell you, the day that I felt freedom, John Poon, the artist John Poon from Utah came up and taught a workshop here, and we were all outside painting. And he took out his camera and took a whole bunch of pictures, and then looked at the back of his camera and manipulated some things, and then set up his painting and painted outdoors. And I was sort of like, isn't that kind of cheating? Like, you're kind of using your camera, but you're painting outdoors, I thought. And he's like, so tell me why this would be cheating if you take one of those little square things and open it up and move it around to find a composition through the little value finder and do this. What's the difference between that and my camera? Totally. My camera's doing that. Why do I need that? Totally. Why can't I zoom in and out and make it easier? Yeah. And then he said, once I figure out it's all about figuring out what you're going to paint. He said, however you get to where you need to get to is a way to get there. Yeah, totally. And I was like, this is crazy. I felt so much freedom that I can use everything at my disposal to get me to where I need to go, because at a certain point, I have a jumping off point, and now I'm painting.
Absolutely, totally. And then also the path of the least resistance to get there. Like, why make it 100%. Harder? Why go out there with that little gray thing and close one eye and stand on one leg and get your like tinfoil helmet happening? You know?
Totally. That's
Use your phone.
Just get there. The easiest way to get there, and make it whatever makes sense in your head so that you can get to where you're going. Absolutely. Totally. 100%. Yeah, I love that. All right. So, how are the galleries doing? How are painting sales? What do we know? Let's go. Let's stop that. Let's go back.
Okay.
We just are supposedly coming out of some sort of COVID-y, pandemic-y thing. How are you with that? Were you? I've had other people on the podcast, and I've got both sides. They're like, painted like a madman. It was amazing. Oh my God, I couldn't paint. It was the worst thing ever. Where were you? What happened to you?
God, that was such a journey. I feel like it was probably, like, to be real, it was probably some of the darkest moments, but then also some of the most enlightened moments that I don't think I ever would have got there if it wasn't for COVID. So looking back on it, hindsight now, I'm kind of thinking like, geez, man, I kind of am thankful that some of these things happened, because it pushed me in ways that I never would have been pushed. Because you know what? Sometimes I can be a little lazy, get a little comfort, don't want to move out of my comfortable little bubble, right? And this beyond pushed me out of my comfort bubble.
Cool.
And yeah, like I think there was definitely the first few months, like rewind 2 years. I remember you and Michelle came over to my studio, and it was like I couldn't paint. I think I was just 100%.
I remember that. That's right.
And then I just slowly started, I always trick myself to go into my studio. Like sometimes I have to trick myself. So I'd be like, I'm just going to do a little drawing. No commitment, no nothing, 5 minutes, boom. And then I got into it more and more. And I think that this was probably the most prolific I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
I broke boundaries of just because everything came into the concept of tinker and play. I love to tinker and play. Oh my God. Because now my studio, or I should say my studio times before were deadlines, had to get this done. This is selling, have to create this. Yeah. And God, that's
oh, it's painful. That's painful and hard to get in when you know you have to get something done and not just one. Your brain's going, I'd love to do this.
Totally.
But I have to do this.
Exactly. I have 2 hours today, so I must be productive. But yeah, that just went completely down the toilet.
And the funny
it was
thing
amazing.
is creativity doesn't go, oh, this is your window? Let's jump in. Creativity goes, it's 7:30 at night. I feel like painting. And you're like, what? No, I can't now.
Totally.
Why are you standing in line at a movie going, I could paint right now?
Yeah.
It's like, it never shows up when you want it to. And especially when you have a block of time that you can use, forget it. It's never going to, they never line up. Just screw you, creativity.
It's a fickly mistress. Creativity.
Absolutely. Well, that's super good. And so you got lots of work done and
like, I think pushed boundaries of stylistic stuff. I think my whole entire life, I've really been interested in illustration, but I've never explored it as much as I got a chance to. And I think like all of my education and all of my learning how to paint was always kind of a traditional, like very, this is a fine artist. And I found that the combination of tinkering and playing, drawing and playing, and just breaking out whatever materials, because I'm an art supply hoarder. I think it's because of where I work.
Who isn't an art supply hoarder? And if you're not, you should be.
Yes, totally.
More art supplies.
Art supplies.
Oh, I know. I own everything. You should see what I have in my basement. Owning an art store, you should see what I have in my basement because I watch a YouTube video and go, oh my God, I'm so doing that. And then you realize you buy all the stuff and you realize it's way harder than it ever looked. And it takes a lot of practice to get there. And I have downstairs to gold leaf the Taj Mahal because I'm going to do that. And I have plaster stuff. I'm going to make plaster boobs of every woman that ever lived. And it's still a roll sitting there going, yeah, well, that's
I think I also went down that gold leaf rabbit hole and I'm like, oh my God, I love it. I want to have everything gold leaf.
Everything.
And I don't have anything gold leafed. Like I just have all the materials for it.
Yeah.
You know?
I have, the only thing I ever had gold leafed was my ex-wife's torso. I made a thing of her boobs and I gold leafed it, and Michelle made me throw it out and going, if you don't get rid of this, I'm not dating you anymore. And I kept it downstairs for a while. And then I mistakenly asked my kids if they wanted it. They're like, why would we want a thing of mom's boobs? What are you, weird? And I was like, yeah, that was weird. Anyways, it's long gone. And I have 17 pounds of gold leaf still downstairs that'll never get used. But yeah, I've got everything else under the sun that you think you could use for, you know, even that Yupo paper and pouring and ink and oh my God, everything that looks so funky fun. And I bought it all and then never got there. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah, I think that's what we're all like. But that's a creative bug that's inside of us that we all want to super create all the time. Everything's about creating and being creative. That's the whole deal. And like you say, it's so hard to find the time just to be free to do it. Julie Hamilton, the famous artist, which I say patented, the thing that opened me up to play was we used to go down to the Gushel studio, which is in Blairmore, and we'd stay for a week and we'd hang out. And she just called it paint and pitch. And she's like, paint and pitch. Just bring some crappy canvas boards and paint pitch. Take a photo, throw it up, see what happens. Pitch it in the garbage when you're done. You play.
Totally.
Just play. Because you never know what will come from play.
Totally.
And so her big thing, paint and pitch, that really set me on another road where I'm okay with it. I check stuff out all the time. I'm okay with it.
I love that. Paint and play and like the power of play. You know, that's how when we're in that realm, like think of when we were kids, that's how we learn, you know, that's how we navigate our environment and all that sort of stuff. We lose that as adults.
I think we do.
Like, oh my God.
Everything needs to come to some sort of fruition or an end where it's like, I'm doing this and it must be this when I'm done.
Purpose.
Like, yeah, it has to have a purpose, or I did this. And how many people, like, being a teacher, how many people are so afraid to let go of a bad painting, or they're just gonna, flog it till they die.
Work it to death, and it's like, oh no, you're done, honey. You were done like last year. Nope.
So I was in a workshop. I'm not sure if I've told this story before, but if I have, excuse me, I'm going to tell it again. But I was in a workshop with the absolute famous painter Ken Oster. Rest in peace. He's no longer with us, but we were up on Laguna Beach, up on a hill, painting the distance in California. And I paint. And he comes by and says, okay, where are we at? What are we doing here? And I'm like, well, I don't know, you this and this. And he goes, oh, you need to, do a little this and a little that. And you kind of composition's a little off. Anyway, so he moves on to the next student. About half an hour later, he comes back. Okay, where are we at? My painting's even worse.
Oh, no.
And he's like, oh, okay, well, it's getting chalky now. And you didn't move this and this and this. And so anyways, helps me again. He moves on. Another half an hour goes by. I'm still working on this painting. And he's like, comes by and goes, oh, so we're still here, right? And I go, okay, I don't know what's going on. I can't fix this painting. So he looks around and he grabs my sketchbook and he tears a piece of paper out of my sketchbook, grabs my pencil, and he literally writes TOD 1027. He licks it and stuck it on my painting, and he walked away. And I was like, what's that? Todd 27. He goes, it stands for time of death. He goes, every guy that's pumping away on somebody, trying to save his life, the other doctor goes, and the other paramedic goes, buddy, it's over. You're not going to save this. That was it. I have that piece of paper stuck on my wall downstairs. It says TOD 1027. It's like, that's the time of death. You ain't fixing this painting, buddy. This is like long gone dead.
So I have a rule for myself for that, because sometimes that, like, I don't know, maybe it's the production-based society we live in and like, gotta make it happen, guys. Gotta make it work. I have a rule for myself and I call it the pain in the ass rule. And it's like, when it gets to the point that something's a colossal pain in the ass, I don't do it. I'm done. Nope. Got into the pain in the ass category, and it's like, forevermore, no.
PIA factor.
PIA.
Pain in the ass factor. How much?
TOD, PIA.
How much is this PIA factor? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get that all the time. People will say, hey, I'm selling a whole bunch of stuff. And you go to see the stuff because it's a good deal. And you walk in and they go, how much you give me for this? And I go, how much you give me to get rid of this for you? And they look at you going, what? No, I want money. You go, no, PIA, pain in the ass factor. You need to get rid of this. And this is a pain in the ass. You're going to pay me to get rid of this. I don't want this crap. And they're like shocked, but they don't realize that, no way, pain in the ass, forget it. If it's a pain in the ass, I don't want to do it now.
No, done.
I am even down to people will call me and say, hey, could you do me a favor? I'm like, yeah, probably. What do you need? Could you give me a ride? What time? 4:27? No, it's a lot of traffic and I'm not driving up in the north at 4:27. I'll do it at 9. I'll do it at 3, but I'm not doing it at 4. I'm learning. Nope, that's a pain in the ass factor. I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm
totally.
Sorry. I'm not driving you nowhere.
Totally.
Traffic is shit. I hate it.
Yeah. Okay, so side note, I think that's another thing that COVID taught me was boundaries. Like, I feel like I was way too much of a yes person. Like, sure, I'll do that. Sure, I'll do that. Sure, I'll help you out, blah, 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 blah. And I still do that no matter what. But I would do it sacrificing my own self, So now I'm like, no, I won't do that.
No, nothing wrong with that. No,
like boundaries.
Nothing wrong with that. And I think COVID taught me a little of that too, where I kind of got comfortable not wearing pants.
Oh my God.
That was so good. It's like, what? It's like now the PIA is, do I have to wear pants? So and I'm like, I don't want to do it. I got to put on pants. I don't know. That's a crazy thing that happened. But I will say the one thing COVID taught me was, because I didn't teach for almost a year.
Yes.
I got my ass out of bed every morning and went downstairs and painted. And I said, I don't care. Just that's what you do. Like, some guys can go to the gym every day. Mm-hmm. Well, you got to wear pants again for that. So that's a whole different story. But I just found it's like the gym. You just go in. I don't care. Maybe I vacuum. Maybe I vacuum twice. Maybe I don't do anything. But if the hard thing is not the painting part. The hard thing is not all the art that you need to do. The hardest thing in the world to do is go into the studio.
Totally.
To get from up here to down there is a colossal hard thing to do.
That's why I always need to trick myself. Like, I always trick myself. But remember, like, what's that book? And it's all about resistance, because we always have
The Art of War.
The Art of War. Totally. Like, I remember you and I
The
were
War
having...
on Art.
Oh,
But anyways, it's Stephen Pressfield, best book
Yes,
ever.
so
The
good.
War on Art.
So
And
good.
Turning Pro is his other book. Fantastic. Both good books. Turning Pro is fantastic.
Oh, I'll totally get that. I haven't read that one yet.
It's as good as the first one. But yes, that whole thing, that's what helped me as well. The resistance thing is like, and when you finally hear the forms that resistance takes, it's absolutely nutty crazy that you go, oh yeah, whatever. It's me. No, it's a thing. Resistance is a thing, and it shows up every single morning that you wake up. It's looking at you in the face when you're laying in bed and you pop your eyes open. It's laying there going, you know what? You should push the snooze button.
Oh my God.
Oh, you know what? No, you shouldn't do that. You know what?
5 more
You don't
minutes,
need to
it's
do
okay.
laundry today. You know what? Why have a shower? You don't need pants. Guess what? You should watch TV.
Eat
TV
that
is
piece
good.
of cake. It's good for you.
It's the last piece.
Yeah.
You know what? You're just going to throw it out anyways. One piece ain't going to
got,
make
like,
you fatter. Oh my
protein
God.
from the
Resistance is
eggs.
the worst thing on the planet.
Yeah.
I hate that thing. And
Totally.
it never goes away.
Never goes away. Like, I think the best thing is learning how to identify it and then work with it, because you can't deny it either, because there's always going to be
never
that.
goes away. It's still there.
You have to satisfy that part of yourself that's going to press snooze every once in a while. But learning how to work with it. You
Absolutely.
know?
That is it. That's the key, is learning
Yeah.
how to work with resistance. And as I said, the hardest thing isn't the painting. It isn't all that work that you need to do downstairs or in your studio, wherever your studio happens to be. It's how do I get from point A to point B to get in that room? And if you can get in there, it's amazing once you get in there how you don't want to leave.
Okay, so what do you do to trick yourself into your studio?
Well, nothing now. I just go down there every day and I just go, no, that's what I'm doing. Every day I get up and literally, this is going to sound
Good for
funny,
you.
but I flip the bird first thing in the morning, go, fuck you, resistance. I'm out of here, man. Push the fucking laundry aside and go,
that's so
guess
good.
what? Laundry,
So
do
good.
I need underwear? I don't need underwear to paint, okay?
Yeah.
I don't need anything to paint. I just need to go paint. I say fuck you to everything. So what I've done is I turn my phone off. I do not answer emails in the morning. I don't answer the phone. I don't get on the computer. I don't do shit, nothing till I'm downstairs painting, and I paint till whenever I'm done. And then usually for me, I'm in there about 6:37 in the morning, and I paint at least till 9:30. And then the day sort of starts, and I'm like, okay, now things are dinging, my phone's going, I've got to go to the store, I've got to get some stuff done. But every morning, just like, what do they say? The 7 highly effective habits of super intelligent people or whatever. I go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning. Well, I get that now. I don't go to the gym, but I am in that studio every morning at the same time. And I will tell you something, that the muse that comes to you and the professionalism in the world that's the opposite to resistance, every day you go down there, they put a little mark on the wall going, yeah, he's here again. I think he means business.
Awesome.
We need to help him.
Awesome.
He's actually means business. He's not farting around. And the trajectory that you get from getting in there every day is phenomenal, how fast it comes and how much better you get at it.
Oh, that's so inspiring, Doug. One thing I'm starting to realize too is, scheduling studio time. So I find for me, I used to have my most productive time in the evenings because I felt like I was just really creative, go down there, turn on the tunes. But now I think maybe because of COVID, once again, I've shifted. And I think you've got something there with the first thing that you do in the morning. Put your phone on silent. Don't do any emails. Don't go down that rabbit hole because you never get out of it.
Oh, no. As soon as you do that and go,
stops.
oh, yeah, I forgot I was supposed to do this. Oh, and I have to meet so-and-so. Nothing's worse than I'm going to go paint at 9 in the morning, but I'm meeting blah, blah, blah for lunch at 11:30. And then you're like, okay, well, I can't even paint now because I've got to get dressed and I should do my laundry. I should just clean the kitchen when Duke puts around.
Oh, look, under my microwave, it's really dirty. I should take care of that.
I know. How much shit could you get cleaned if you avoided painting?
Oh, a lot. I've done that a lot.
I know.
I feel like I could
Been
almost
there,
have a
done
cleaning
that, too.
company. So side note here, talking about you and getting in comfortable for not wearing pants. I kind of joked around when I came here because I actually brought my own slippers.
She did. She bought her fuzzy slippers going, I want to be totally comfy.
I do. I want to be comfortable.
No, hey, you got to be comfortable everywhere you go. And yeah, that's like what you were saying too. The sign of age when you start bringing things with you going, oh no, I want to be totally comfortable and I don't give a shit what you think of me anymore. Like you were saying.
Where's
now,
my house robe?
yeah, like you're saying now is, I always find the meanest thing that God ever did was go, here, guess what? You're going to be old now and very forgetful. But on the same note, I'm going to now make you wear glasses so you can see, which is another thing you need to carry around, and you're forgetful and can't find them. And you were just saying coming in that you need glasses now. It's a whole thing, eh? When you got to wear glasses again.
Oh my God. Yeah. And I have progressives now.
Does it feel like you're swimming when you walk?
Yes, I can't even wear them when I'm walking. I'm like bumping into things. I feel like I'm drunk.
Well, that's the way it goes now.
Yeah,
I know.
There's not even a fun buzz with it. Like, what's up with that?
I've given up hope. I go to a restaurant now and I just go, I don't know, give me a number 3. I can't read it. It's too dark. I don't know what it is. Surprise me. It's going to be food.
Have you taken a photo with your phone once again?
Oh, yes, absolutely. And zoomed in to be able to read it. Or you take your phone out to read the menu with the light going, yeah, I can't read in the dark. Oh, my God. I know.
I don't do that.
Yeah, we don't know. No, we don't do that. Anyways, whatever. Hey, I just love the quote that someone said that, painting's an old man's game. That I love that this isn't like hockey or some sports where, oh, I'm 31, I'm washed up. This is good. You learn more and can do more, and the older you get, the wiser you get, the more it plays into painting and the better you get at it. And I swear, painting's an old person's game. It's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. Well, it's never ending. Like I'm sure you have this. I'm sure all artists have this where they have the painting at home up on the wall that's like, this is the best painting I've ever done. Oh my God. And like you have it, you stick it around forever. And then at one point in time, you look at that best painting you've ever done. And you realize it's this total piece of shit. Like,
I have a whole basement full of those.
I'm embarrassed to have this on my wall now.
I think I remember my favorite brush was my liner brush. Why? Because I could sign a painting.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I was not even halfway done a painting and I'm already ready to sign it going, oh, I put my signature on here. Yay. And, it's funny. So you always look, but I just recently got hacked and lost my Instagram.
Yeah.
And that's a whole other story that we can talk about. But, my son, Ryan, who's he's the podcast genius. He's the one at the back right there. He's the man. So he goes back and tries to help me and find it. And he goes through all these thousands of posts that I've made. And I'm looking going, I posted that. Oh my God. And I posted that. I'm so embarrassed. He's like, no, we'll get it back. I'm like, no, let's start over again. Maybe forever. I got way better paintings now. Let's start over. It'll look really good. Because those first early ones, I'm like, really? That's a bad painting. I think I threw it out, but yet I posted it. Instagram. Maybe someone will like me. Yay. I'm over that now.
I'm so sorry that happened. Like it's so irritating how, like, I've seen quite a few artists get their
there's many now
hacked.
that have called me and we've talked.
And it's just
I know 4 or 5 that have lost their
unfortunate.
Instagram too. It's just so dumb. Whatever.
Yeah.
This guy's sitting around doing this, like, go get a job, man. Really?
Yeah, totally. Like, I think when I realized that something was going on, it's like, Doug, you're sending me something like a personal message about Bitcoin?
Oh, listen, you have no idea. I spoke to the RCMP because, we're on the podcast, whatever. I had some, let's call them elderly people that follow me that thought if Doug says it is, then it must be.
That's the hook
and they
look
sent money
for.
out. And
Nobody do that
I had
ever.
a daughter call me saying, my mom spent some money. Is this a thing? What's going on? I'm afraid. I'm like, they were from Edmonton. And I said, no, it's total hack. And she's like, oh my God, my mom has spent all this money. I said, you need to call the police right now because like somehow the police have to get involved in this.
Oh, that just gave me
Anyways,
goosebumps.
she called the Edmonton City Police and somehow the RCMP called me and they just wanted to talk to me and verify. And anyways, they sent me photos of the conversation I had with this lady going, I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. And I've never had this conversation. Whoever this is on my Instagram talking to people right now as if they're me.
Yeah. There's something really like, oh my God, violating about that, like impersonation.
That's funny you say that.
Yeah.
That for a while, I didn't care. I was like, no big deal. And then everybody started calling me. I got people that I hadn't talked to in years saying, is this really you? Is this a thing? And they'd phone me. I talked to a lady, Marion, in Comox. I hadn't talked to her in 10 years. She used to be a student of mine. Lovely girl. And we got along so good. And I hadn't talked to her in years. We had a half-hour conversation. But she's like, well, what is the deal? Is this a thing?
Yeah.
And anyways, after I finally lost my Instagram thing and I had to start over and then that was a pain, whatever, then this little thing crept in and I did feel a little violated.
Yeah.
It was weird. It's like, fuck, this is annoying. And you know, normally everybody's, oh my God, you lost your Instagram. I'm like, oh, whatever, it's Instagram, whatever. But I actually felt a little violated.
Peel the onion layers off of that. And yeah, because you're a trusted person that so many people would believe you and then actually put themselves in a precarious situation. Like that's going to ding you because you care about people.
I do. Absolutely.
You know, and like that's a big deal.
It was terrible. Like you're using my name for this. Like,
fuck you.
Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry.
It was. And
Not sorry.
I had somebody.
Not sorry.
One of, I think, Todd LaChance had a conversation with this person and he wrote him a big nasty thing saying if I ever find you and what he was going to do to him if he could catch him. I'm like, I'm sure these guys hear it all the time. They don't care. Whatever. Anyways, yeah. All right. Anyways, how's the teaching? How's the teaching? You were doing videos? Where's all your, what's going on?
Teaching's going really good. It's funny. It was really nice with COVID for not teaching because, you know, I've been teaching for many, many years and I've never, ever been able to have my artistic career without the sideline of teaching at the same time. So it was really lovely just to focus on painting. And at one point in time, I'm like, I'm never teaching again. This is how I'm doing it from now on. And then I went back to teaching and then it's like, oh, I actually do love this.
Yeah, I had the same thing. Yeah. I think I needed that 1 year off.
Yeah.
Because then it was like, you teach and whatever. But when you teach these students and you love them dearly, and I absolutely, I love teaching, but it got to a point where, you know, I hit a level and I'm teaching the same thing over and over and over. And it gets a little tiring and a little boring. You're getting a little bit, you know, how many times have I said this? And I never forget Erica Newman saying, at one point she was so tired of teaching and saying the same things over and over again. And she was so tired of it all. And she didn't even really want to paint that much. So she took a job at the Okotoks Cultural Center.
I remember that.
Right? As a gallery. She was going to be the gallery operator and run the gallery. She lasted 1 week. And she went, remember one thing, folks. If you think the grass is greener on the other side of the fence, then you need to water your own lawn.
Yeah.
She said that was like crazy. She went there and 1 week later she realized, I love teaching. I love my job. I love painting. Why would I ever go anywhere else? But she just needed that one moment to reaffirm everything she had.
A checkpoint.
And I think that whole year off that I had, when I came back to teaching, I was like, I never hugged my students more going, I totally missed you and I totally love teaching you and I love seeing you succeed and I love seeing where you're going. And it's been a year now that I've been back teaching and I'm not even minusculely tired of it. I'm still enjoying it. So
I downsized my schedule a fair bit though. So I feel like, because that balance I became very aware of during COVID of like, I was sacrificing. So that's that no thing again, the boundaries. I was sacrificing too much of my time and taking away from my own personal growth that I was giving it to everybody else. And so downsizing was the scariest thing I've ever done, but it was the best thing I've ever done.
Right?
Yeah. Because now it's allowing me more time.
But you know how teaching is, that teaching is giving. So you give all the time and you get some back from them, but it's not like you get a ton back. You're giving. And so I noticed that when I cut back on teaching, the painting went much better. Yeah. Because you can only teach so much before you go home and you have nothing to give to the canvas.
Totally. That's the thing. You're exhausted.
And you don't want to do, I'm arted out. I can't do anything. So
I don't even want to make a decision. Yeah, totally. Because all art is always problem solving, right? So navigating that problem solving between students when you're doing individual teaching, because then it's on the fly. Like you got to be quick with it. Like, I feel like if they did an MRI on my brain as I teach, it would be like lightning bolts everywhere.
You got to put a little thingy up on that. And
do it!
funny. No, it does.
Yeah.
Teaching sucks
And then
the
there's nothing
creativity
left.
out of you.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not condemning teaching. Love it. It's great. But it's tiring and exhausting.
Yeah.
You're problem solving there the whole time. And then you go downstairs to paint and it's like, oh, now I got to problem solve some more. I'm like, no, I'm tired of it. My
Screw
brain
going
doesn't wanna do
downstairs to paint. It's like, what do I want for dinner? I don't even know.
Yeah, I know.
Don't ask me anything.
So
I can't make any more decisions.
I 100% agree with you
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So to recharge your gas tank, then what do you do? Where's the where's the belly dancing? Where's the circusy? Where's the whatever you used to do? You were all creative all over the map. What are you doing these days down there to refill your gas tank?
I feel like I was definitely, I don't know, if I go back 20 years to like 20-year-old Holly, you know, when you choose a life path and it's like,
I do. Is your nose ring still in the drawer?
It is.
All right. Think you could put it in? Could you still stick your nose ring in?
I think I probably could.
Where's your tongue ring?
No, don't have that anymore.
Right.
But I chose my path of I'm going to be a belly dancing artist. Like, let's choose the most obscure thing ever and try to make a go of it. Like, oh my God.
But you did it.
I did.
You did it.
And it's been a heck of a go. Like, holy cow, there was I'm not really performing anymore or anything else like that. And belly dancing started off like, it's such a weird thing. I would be the girl in Greek restaurants being like, chicka-ching, chicka-ching, chicka-ching. That looks tasty. Chicka-ching, chicka-ching, chicka-ching. Like, how weird is
But you were good at it.
Maybe I was just a really good entertainer.
No, but you've made a living out of that. You taught Pilates.
Yeah, I did that.
You've done everything to find a way to put money on and food on the table and support something that ultimately you wanted to be an artist.
Yeah.
And so you did everything that was already around the art to surround it and make your living out of it.
So my dad told me this from a young age, and it's like, this is how I feel like I live my life. Find something that you love doing and find a way to make money at it. And that's your life purpose. That's your gift of life.
Absolutely.
That's the trick to life. There you go. And so I kind of like took that verbatim, and you know, like sometimes I want to rethink that a tiny bit, but I do feel like that's got me to where I am now, because he was also an entrepreneur. And really, like, this whole art gig is really more so about entrepreneurship.
Sure
like,
it is.
not only do you have to be a creative type for an artist to be able to paint, but then you also have to try to figure out a way, like, how do I survive off of this? If I need to have this amount of time to do my service as an artist, how do I support myself to pay my mortgage? How do I
many
buy
irons in the fire? You got
Exactly.
There's just not one thing makes you money.
Multiple sources
But
of income.
It's probably the absolute hardest thing to do out there is to be a creative person and be an entrepreneur, and then have to have all the business skills that go with it to support it, which
many people have.
They're totally opposite.
Yeah.
Whatever arty thing you have is anti-business, and you know, if you're good at business, then maybe you're not super creative, but if you're super creative, you're not good at like the whole business end of it is I don't even know how I'm in business. Why I'm in business is totally beyond me.
It's because you have a team. You have a team.
I have a team.
Yes.
Well, and I was lucky enough to have my father say to me, I think he only ever said two things to me in business, but the one important one he said was, the smartest doctor out there will say, I don't do that. I don't know how to do that. That is not what I do. And they either don't do it, or then they surround themselves with the people that can to be able to make it happen. And he said, if you surround your people with all the skills you don't have, you will be a winner.
Totally.
And so I've always hired for what I can't do. And everybody I've hired, I've been the luckiest guy in the world to hire all great people that have surrounded me and lifted me up. And so I'm thankful for that, because that's, and you got to learn to say no when it's out of your realm. And when you go, you know, you're an artist, I want to do everything.
Not my wheelhouse.
Yeah. Right.
Tap out.
Right. So, yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm. And funny enough too, because like, if I think about art school and all the people who I'm in contact, I shouldn't say all the people that I'm in contact with from art school, but if you take the demographic of art school graduates of how many people actually make it as an artist, it's like not looking very good.
Oh, it's not. It's crazy. It's like, less than 5% of every graduating class out of an art college 5 years later is even in art.
Oh, totally. And I think it's because of that entrepreneurship business side of things. That's not pushed enough. I feel like as artists, it would do art schools a service to artists to have that course that you need to take.
Oh, you need all the courses in how to manage your money and how to have many irons in the fire. But when I went to art college, I mean, they never told us all the jobs that were available.
Oh my God, that's such a thing.
You could, like, I was always just, do art. But, and then you'd get out and go, now what do I do? But there was tons of places you could go that need, like, okay, so I get on my soapbox here real quick, but
I love this.
I am absolutely astounded at this world today that the first thing that happens when budgets are cut, art. Oh, we can't do art. We need art to go away. Well, it's nothing. Nobody needs art. And yet, every single thing that we touch and use today has art on it.
Totally.
You watch TV, all the commercials, all the TV shows, all the sets, all the designing, every album you buy, every car you buy has a designer designing it. And every car you buy, everything you drink has a designer designing it. Every house you build is an architect, which is a creative thing.
Yep.
Every sign, every ad, every pill bottle, every piece of clothing you wear, every piece of carpet you buy, every building that's built. 900% of everything that's out there is art. And what's the first thing to go? Art. And yet we use it more than we use anything else every day. I just don't understand that. Art should be the most number one thing in the world. And you look at every single civilization that was number one. What made them number one? It was the art. Yes. The architecture, the paintings, the music. That's what they're identified with.
I think if we actually go deeper into that too, I think that like the sign of a thriving civilization, if you go into not archaeology, maybe anthropology.
All of it. It's all art.
Because they have a significant source of art that's behind there.
Absolutely.
So it's like if they had enough time to actually be able to create art instead of surviving against war or finding food, then you know that this was a functioning society.
Absolutely.
Like it's such an integral part to it. And I think also thinking about that, as soon as we feel like we are having all of our needs met and we do feel safe, like that's when creativity happens. That's when we can be like, oh, let me think about this. And then when that happens, that's when ingenuity happens.
Absolutely. That's when like the leading edge of everything occurs and things advance.
Exactly.
100%. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Cool, man.
All right, sorry. I'm just looking at it right. Yeah, wave over here. All right. All right. So before we wrap things up, thank you again for coming and being here and yakking to me. Let's just go down this last little rabbit hole. So you went to art college and you're like me. You did not graduate from art college.
Yes.
Yay. High five on that.
Oh my God, you're so far.
Oh no, because I love talking to people who graduated and had different experiences, but you had the same experience as me. And I sort of love the little fact, the thing that kind of freaks me out a little, or the way it is. To be a doctor, you got to go to school and you got to blah, 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 and you got to pass to be a doctor. To be a lawyer, blah, blah, blah. To be a plumber, you got to get your red seal and be a plumber. But art was always one of those things. You need to go to school and get a degree in art. But my next door neighbor never went to school ever for art and is an artist. What's the deal with that? I don't know how you solve that, but it's kind of a weird anomaly to be an artist and yet have it in schools. And I'm sure that's why they have problems teaching it, because shouldn't we all need a BFA or an MFA or something before you can sell paintings? But it just isn't that way.
I think because it speaks for itself. Like if you have a fantastic quality of art, it's known to everyone, not even artists, just the average Joe to be like, hey man, that's cool. It's like, I feel like the work itself will speak for itself, and the BFA piece of paper maybe might have helped you get there for sure, because everybody needs education no matter what. Like, even though I am a dropout of art school,
You flake.
I'm such a flake.
You're flunky.
But I purposely pursued apprenticing under other artists.
That's
like, oh my gosh, this is one of my biggest mentors.
You're so funny. Yeah.
No, for real though. I love you. But no, I think when you have that passion, it doesn't matter as long as you're pursuing, as long as you're learning. It doesn't matter if you have that piece of paper, but you do have to constantly be learning. And I think the trick is too, is that not only the art will speak for itself, but once again, you have to have a good business sense.
It's crazy how you gotta learn the business.
Of self-learning, I shouldn't say self-taught. What's a word for that? Like,
I know self-taught is such a, I always say, and people go, I'm self-taught. I'm like, oh, so you had a blind guy leading you around that knew nothing. You're never self-taught.
No,
that's the dumbest thing in the world.
Take all the workshops.
Who teaches themselves?
Talk to all the artists.
No,
like, study underneath everybody.
Alex Fong said to me one day that I always loved, I said something about, well, I'm not sure who I am and how I paint and what I look like. And people have come up to me going, oh, I'd know you're painting anywhere. And I'm like, really? Because I don't get it. Because I always feel like some days I'm like this, some days I'm like this. But Alex Fong said to me, he goes, the greatest thing about learning from others is it's a giant bag. And in the bag, I have some Alex Fong, I have some Scott Christensen, I have some John Poon, I even have a little bit of Angela Morgan in there, though I don't ever paint like her, but watching her do stuff, there's a little bit of everything. And then Alex says, you're always shaking that bag up because it's all those people. And he goes, the magic ingredient is a little bit of you. And you put that in there, and it's like, that's what separates you, is you have all of those and a little bit of you. And I was like, that's exactly what I am. I'm me because I have everybody, and I have me.
I say that sometimes to students because, like teaching for so long, you get an attachment with some of your students that is like, I love them. And I do know that they also love me and care for me. And sometimes there's a certain break, though, that's a very natural part of they want to try another teacher and they feel bad and everything else. But I really feel like if this art thing is your thing, and if this is like actually something that you want to go to, it's your job to go and take as many classes from as many different people as you possibly can, because you're going to take something from all of these people, and then that is your personal style.
100%.
Select the things that worked, reject the things that don't, and then that's it, So 100%. I love that with Alex Fong too.
100%. All right. Well, hey, thank you for coming out on the most fantastic day and sitting and yakking at the table. It's the first time we've been at the table. I don't know if the table worked. Let me know if the table worked.
It's a lovely
table. We're still working on things. It's all brand new. And I love all of you. And Holly McWilliams, look her up. She's got fantastic videos all over the place. She's an amazing artist, and high fives all around.
Oh, you're really far.
Too far away. I love you.
And one thing, too, before we go, thank you for having me here and inviting me here. And all of you guys know who are watching this is like Doug Swinton is like a pinnacle.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right. Oh, my God. Okay. He's like a pinnacle person in many people's lives, in my lives, and I'm sure everyone who's watching here has had some moments of just amazingness from this guy. And it gets so weird and embarrassed when you try to thank him.
It's whatever. I know. Yeah, whatever. Okay, I love you all too. All right, woo.
Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.